Alright guys, welcome to VALORANT News. Big roster updates yesterday going down with this brand new Evil Geniuses lineup confirming their roster for the upcoming weekend's Sen City Classic that they're running with lots of other theoretical top teams in the North American region. However, Evil Geniuses seemingly confirming in their tweet this is only a temporary roster. Changes will be made, at least one likely if their words are true, after this tournament. What does that mean for Ye and the rest of the lineup? Do they have something else planned in the immediate term? Very much into your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. Plenty as ever to get into. First of all, G confirming today that today is the day their roster is going to be announced. And actually, just as I went to record this video, had a quick check up and we can actually see that this is their announcement video. So a 5-minute announcement video for their team. Absolute fire they've put together here as ever. And if we get towards the end of the video, you will find exactly what their roster is going to be. So can Global Esports put together something slightly better for the upcoming season? Of course, you know, they've messed around with various players over the last few years, and this is now going to be their roster, right? So some of those guys have gone on to do great things, others have not. Of course, they, Indian organization, but no Indian players again on their organization this year for now at the very least. So I believe that Kelly S, Papi and Patrick are all Filipino players in the Philippines, and then of course they have, well, in Udo Tan they have a Korean player, and then Crystal of course is Russian. So Crystal is one of the interesting pickups really, because there were a couple of organizations potentially interested here, but this is what they're going to go for. And then Papi and Patrick, who I'm not particularly familiar with, rounding out the roster. But the content team did cook unbelievably hard with this announcement video. There was, lots of good stuff in this one. So hopefully this team does well and can seriously deliver results in the upcoming season for that organization. A bit of sad news though from yesterday. So you guys might be aware of many kind of, let's say websites that run statistics for VALORANT. VLR.GG has proved to be the most popular in due course. Rib.GG, RunItBack.GG has lasted the test of time for several years and they've done a great job. Their stats go more in depth than VLR a lot of the time. I know that people like Willminder, for example, where they get their stats from, Rib tends to do the best job, but it's just a difficult market space because they had a few other products they're working on as well, but at the end of the day, you sometimes see some consolidation here. So, unfortunately, RunItBack.GG is not long for this world, and they confirmed that on the 1st of December, they are going to, shut down everything, all of its products and everything. So, people who have subscriptions, and there's other products, of course, they offer as well. But over the last few years since Valorant's arrived, they've not, unfortunately, been able to quite sustain what they were looking to achieve. So, sad day for the community there for sure. This is a thread they put out on it publicly. So, wishing everyone involved in that project the best going forward. This was confirmed yesterday as well. FPX, they are going to have Yosemite joining their roster. Of course, Yosemite, you guys might know him from the former Billy Gaming roster that had some pretty successful times over the last couple of years against various organizations. One of those organizations we shall discuss here in just a couple of seconds. But so Yosemite to FPX, that looks to be, well, it's obviously a done deal. It was confirmed yesterday. And then we got this from Fnatic. Anyone up for kayaking today? So we know that Kayak, of course, a player from Apex who's been heavily rumored to be joining Fnatic's team next season, effectively replacing Durka on the lineup. That was the change they decided to make. Interestingly, of course, for the off-season, they've signed Sayonara, who very young player, promising player for sure, and he's going to be joining Fnatic for the time being anyway. Not old enough yet to play in the VCT, likely replacing Leo. So the rumor is that it's going to be Alpha, of course, Chronicle and Boaster, with then Kayak coming in addition to Sayonara for the off-season chals, and then Leo will come back alongside those other guys with Sayonara gone again when the season begins. But we'll see, because if Fnatic do confirm this today, Kayak in, and of course, well, Durka we know is gone to Vitality, it's going to be a great rivalry going into the upcoming season, no doubt about that one. This is also cool. We're getting, plenty of roster announcements over the last few days. This is like the best one. I mean, look, we saw Global Esports put together something pretty mesmerizing. This is like a fashion shoot. I mean, straight up, this is so hard. And I was super impressed here, especially because this is from Fennel, right? An organization that are not in the VCT. Of course, they're in Challengers on the Japanese side. But, they're putting on a serious show. And I think this is what sometimes happens. Organizations that aren't in the VCT, people at Riot will have watched this and thought, damn, they could be a serious, good partner team. We know what happened out there in the Pacific, right? When Bleed Esports were kicked out, they had to choose a replacement, and they chose on merit the runner-up, right? They chose, okay, Sinprasa Gaming, they won the Ascension tournament in the region, but the team that they brought up to replace Bleed with was Boom Esports, the team that was second place. So you've got to deliver on the server at the end of the day, but we know that there are renewals to these contract discussions happening on the partnership side, and, you know, look, the team's got to do well. It's not just about making a cool announcement video, but I think it does help, because I've not really seen anything quite like this in a very long time in esports, and I just think that it's something that will turn heads to some degree, and understandably, it absolutely blew up on social media yesterday as well. So as Zeltis says, yeah, my next announcement video needs to be filmed something like this one, but let's talk about Evil Geniuses and where they potentially lie. So yesterday, there were several screenshots going around of this team in action, getting ready to go for scrims, and this is one example. Sim, Derek, Nature, Ye, and Superman, Coach Potter, Foe as assistant coach. You know, everyone's known now for a little bit of time. That's going to be the lineup, and that's exactly what we currently find ourselves. Now, they have a tournament very shortly indeed. That tournament being run by the Sentinels, and Zeltis was, well, given a bit of flack here to 100 Thieves and saying, hey, look, we're running the tournament. What are you guys playing at? Why do I hear nothing of you guys in any off-season events? I just see Asuna and Xander streaming every day. You lost Bang and now think you can't win, maybe? So pretty interesting, right? Because, yeah, they're not maybe running the events, but also are they playing in any of them? Well, as it stands, not necessarily, but as Asuna says, hey, like, invite us, we might play. So it's all kind of interesting, and of course 100T spent a lot of money recently on their Call of Duty team, so you know, whether they've got the cash to start running events, that is another question, of course. But this is the lineup. Of course, we know that Ye getting out there, it's pretty clear at this point, and well, he's not actually tweeted it yet. The confirmation has not become necessarily official. He's still professional Valorant player for ... and it's not just Ye, the same thing here for Sim, who's still technically part of TSM, but yeah, not for that much longer. So it's kind of confusing, isn't it? Because, well, he retweets this tweet, we'll see in a second, but and then he says, oh, just arrived in LAX, right? So we know that he's going to go to EG, but it's not, and despite the fact that EG, like, officially tweeted it yesterday, they've not yet put either Ye or Sim in their bios that they're an EG player. So that implies to me that this is, maybe on some level, a temporary situation. Now, I kind of feel like EG must be trolling it to some degree, but look, this is what EG say. So we have good news and bad news. The good news is we are playing in the Sin City Classic with Ye, Sim, Derek, Superman, Nature, and then of course Potter and Foe. So, you know, great picture of the guys, Nature on the far left-hand side, the rest of the team playing out from there, and yeah, Ye back in business next to Potter. It's going to be a great time. Looking forward to, you know, seeing how this team gets on. I think it's a very exciting roster on paper, but as they then go on to say, the bad news is the roster is temporary for this event. Sorry. So, what's happening here exactly? I don't know the answers to that question, but presumably if they are going to make another change after the event, it's probably for, you know, a player that's not already signed, right? Because Derek, Superman, Nature were there last year. So if there's anyone who is like, well, we're signing him for this event but not afterwards, it's got to be someone else. Now, Ye, full unrestricted free agent, right? And of course, with Sim being on TSM and they've got out of there, you know, likely a similar thing as well. So I don't think there should be any contractual reasons why they can't keep these guys on for the longer term. And of course, who knows? What if they go to the event and they win? Like, Potter might have a plan of someone, you know, people have thrown around the possibility. What about Fluorescent, of course, from the GC roster that's Shopify Rebellion, that's going to go there to Berlin and potentially win the Game Changers World Championship? You know, is that a conversation that could be had? Because, you know, maybe it makes sense. You play this tournament, GC Champs happens, then those players are potentially available after then, possibly, right, if this is a short-term option. But that I don't really know. That's just a theory that people have come up with to explain what this might be about. But equally, if they play very well, they win the whole thing, they win the Sin City Classic, and this team on paper is pretty exciting. Like, why would they make a change? So it seems more likely that Sim, if there is going to be a change after the event, that he might be the odd man out. I just can't see why they would sign Ye for one event and get rid of him. So yeah, it seems to be basically confirmed. Obviously, Derek welcomes them to the team, and I think there's a reasonable chance that this is just the roster they keep for the entire season, because that's been rumoured for some time. There's not really been any other names in that conversation massively. But yeah, this is the tourney. Sentinels, Cloud9, EG, NRG in attendance. And this is going to be happening in, well, I think this is on the Friday, right? So yeah, literally tomorrow is when this tournament starts. 20k prize pool on the line. I think that Zoms is giving his take and says, yeah, either a new watch or, you know, fund the prize money to some bub esports players, he says. So yeah, Zoms apparently balling as ever. But very much interested in your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.